really, I wasn't really that excited about how I played.
Josh, is it a confidence thing now, or?
I wouldn't say it's a confidence thing. I mean, it's just one of those where, I didn't play well, and I just have to accept that. I'm not going to make excuses. We played two good teams. They beat us, and, just got to move on to the next one.
Did you get frustrated? Your body language seemed like you were getting frustrated out there.
I was getting frustrated myself because, when I watched the game over with our assistant coach, a lot of times when I was, getting position, I had a, really good position, but it was just rushing my shot. And it's just one of those where, when you see it on camera, it's just kind of like, wow, it's an easy fix. All you got to do is slow it down, you have a layup, and maybe an and one, so.
Were there defenses that, forcing you to speed up at Oregon State?
I want to say that. We were on the road. The crowd might have had a little bit to do with it, just kind of speeding us up a little bit, especially in the second half. But I wouldn't say, it was really, their defense like that. They played a good game. I'm not taking any credit from them.
Do you think you're thinking too much during the game?
I'd probably say so. I'd probably say I'm thinking way too much, and I just kind of need to go out there and just relax and, play with a smile on my face.
Travis went through the same thing earlier. You guys compare notes at all? Like, how do you turn off your brain?
No, it's funny because you're actually right, but I'll probably ask Trav. But it's just one of those where I was talking to my dad because my parents came down and they just said, just have fun. It's not the end of the world. And I was getting comments from some of my family, saying that when I was out there, I didn't look, happy or anything. So I just got to, just have a better attitude.
Do you think you found yourself at some point this season maybe looking too far into the future, or just thinking about what could be and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it started with the whole, beginning of the season. Me personally, when, we were ranked and, we were looking forward, I was already kind of looking past the first two games, to Maui, looking forward to Texas and Pac-12 and stuff like that. And, our record is where it is right now. But, we had a good practice yesterday, so we're just going to keep going.
Was it because your family was there that made it a little more disappointing for you? Or?
Yeah, because, my mom and dad they can't catch a lot of my games in person. They watch all of them, but, they're up in Washington, following my little brother. So I always want to play, good in front of them. But, I have another shot next week when we go up to UW, so.
Your mom was more effective with the bird call last year. The team shot a lower percentage last year.
Yeah, my mom, it was funny because she told me she wasn't even going to try not to make the noise. She made another one, but...
She couldn't help it. About halfway through the Oregon State game, she kind of, you could see, okay, I'm gone.
Yeah, it's just one of those, because you have to understand, my mom loves me, and, the student sections, they were, had stuff to say, about us, and I remember, I was looking at the bench, and I saw my mom and my dad, yelling at some kids, in the student section, and it's just there's nothing I can do about it. I just got to keep playing and just hopefully my mom, just keeps her cool.
She'd make a good tag team with Stan Love.
She really could. You have to understand, my mom is just one of those moms who's just very protective, and it's just one of those where, I didn't even know what was going on. I was trying to pay attention to the game, but I just remember just seeing it, I saw them, and I saw my brother standing up. I'm like... That's
Stover's mom, right?
So, I think I saw Dave's dad stand up, too, and, talk to them, so... our parents are there for us on the road.
In Eugene or Corvallis?
Eugene.
Yeah.
Because in Corvallis, they were sitting right behind our bench, but the Oregon, the way their stadium set up, their student section's right there, and then we're right there, so they're, 15 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
So.
That's shocking. Oregon fans are usually so polite to the visiting team.
It was funny because they were polite to us last year, for the most part, and then, they had Stove, the picture of Stove, and then they had Jesus' head, all this, and... they were creative. I'll give them that.
What was the picture of Stowe?
It was a picture of Stowe. I want to say, it was him in
shorts.
High school. They had a picture of him with his shirt off, just one of those, little in-the-mirror pictures. And it was funny because, we went out there, and I remember they all had pictures, so I was like, oh, who was that? So I was like, okay. I was trying to think, and then I saw Jeremy laughing, so I thought it might have been him. And then I remember going up, and it was just Stove, going like this, with his shirt on. And the Stove looked at me. He was like, "That's picture so old." I was like, "Dang, they found it." So, yeah.
It's a lesson about the internet.
Yeah, for real. Go on your Facebook and make sure you got no pictures that you can use because they definitely found one.
When you watch yourself on tape, do you see what your parents are saying? You don't look happy out there?
Yeah, it's just one of those where, you know, I can notice just like with my body language, you know, and I'm just one of those guys, you know, when the game's not going that well, you know, I get down on myself, you know, I don't like to lose, you know, it's just stuff like that, and, you know, it's kind of hard. I kind of tell my parents all the time, like, it's kind of hard for me to be happy after a loss. I mean, you know, I'm not one of those guys just kind of like, oh, you know, we'll move on to the next one. Like, I just, you know, we really needed at least one of those, and we had two, you know, really good opportunities to get both. And, you know, the Oregon State game, we didn't play good defense. We scored enough points, but, you know, you can't beat a team when they score 87 and, you know, shoot 57% from the field. And then, you know, the Oregon game, let EJ Singler, you know, go for 20 in the second half, so.
Is that the biggest thing for you, just changing that mindset, like going into games?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm just fine. You know, it's just one of those where I just, like, honestly, my big thing is just to, like, just stop thinking so much and just go out there and just play. Because, I mean, I feel good out there, and it's just one of those where, you know, I'm just guessing wrong on some stuff, you know, instead of, like, turning middle, if the guy's playing me middle, you know, just stuff like that.
Coach said he's seen you have a couple good practices this week, kind of likened it to coming off a Bay Area trip. Do you feel it's a similar situation for you?
Yeah, I mean, we've always had, you know, we had pretty good practices. Last week, you know, our practices were good, but, you know, we had some stuff that we could have tuned up. But we've had, you know, two really good practices, you know, Monday and Tuesday. And, you know, we play Utah tomorrow, right? Yeah, we got Utah tomorrow, and, you know, they're a good team, so we're just going to get ready for them.
It's difficult to fix things in practice that really just seem to creep up during games, poise, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of, you know, things you can't simulate, you know, in real life games. I mean, you know, we have our second team, you know, trying to emulate what the other team does, but you're not going to really get a taste of what they do until you actually play them, you know, because, I mean, guys are different sizes. You know, we have, you know, some guys, you know, 6'2", you know, playing a guy who's supposed to be 6'7", you know, so, I mean, it's just one of those where, you know, we get a good idea of what they like to run, but when we get out there, you know, it's just kind of go with the flow.
Can you miss the sports arena?
Do I miss it?
Yeah, it's been a month since
I can't remember the last time we've actually been in there, but I mean, it's going to be, you know, a nice little homecoming to go back.
Is that weird for you to have a home game that you haven't been in a court in a month?
Yeah, because I was thinking, I think our last game there was Richmond, right?
Yeah.
It was Richmond, and that was
December
last
23rd.
year. Yeah, right.
Before Christmas?
Yeah, before Christmas. I was about to say the 23rd. It's almost been a month.
Yeah, it's been over a month.
Oh, it's been over a month, exactly. Hopefully, you know, it's not too dusty or anything like that. So, that's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Do you have to remind, like, students to come to the game, or are you out there campaigning and try to get, I mean, especially after an Oregon crowd?
It's hard. I mean, you know, I've talked to students, you know, it was a lot easier, you know, because Paulie's right there. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about, you know, finding a ride out there. I mean, when you live on campus, it's just, you know, a walk. And, you know, people with their class schedules, you know, it's kind of, they say, you know, it's kind of a hassle to get out there, you know, from here, traffic, you know, but whoever's there, we're going to play. So if it's, you know, 10 people or 10,000 people, we're still going to play. But we just hope, you know, we get as much fans as we can.
You said your parents were talking about how they said you didn't look happy. Overall, are you happy?
I mean, I'm happy, but in the games, you know, like when I start off bad, you know, it's kind of like a snowball effect where, you know, when I miss my first layup, then it's like, oh, because I remember like the Oregon game, I missed a point-blank layup, you know, when I was kind of wide open, you know, came down, missed another one, then it's just kind of like, you know, it's just like a snowball effect, just keeps getting bigger and just keeps rolling. So,
Have you always been like that? Like,
no, I mean, I've had some games like that, you know, where, you know, the first couple things don't go your way, and then, you know, usually I've been a good enough player to let it affect me, but like I said, I'm not making any excuses, you know, I know I play bad, so.
Josh, do you feel like you think that when it does click, or that when you do feel comfortable, is it just going to be like one of those things where, like, the shackles come out? You know, do you sort of feel like you're playing so tight right now that you don't know what it's going to be like when things get better?
Yeah, because, I mean, I haven't really, you know, put a stretch where I've been, you know, playing consistently. I mean, you know, we had a Cal trip, you know, didn't play the best. Arizona, I didn't play, you know, Arizona State had a, you know, I guess a decent game, you know, just, you know, numbers-wise. And then, you know, we come back, we beat SC, didn't really have a good game, but, you know, we still beat SC. And then you go to Oregon's and, you know, it's kind of all right. So I just, you know, I mean, we still have games, you know, still have some games left, and I just want to try to, you know, keep an effort and keep it consistent over the season, and, you know, not just playing spurts.
Today, January 25th, you think you can be the best player in the conference right now?
Yes, I believe that.
Thanks, man.
No problem.